Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. Today we're going to talk about offer sheets, probably the most complicated process in the NHL in terms of offering players contracts. A special type of player is only eligible to be offer sheeted. They need to be coming out of their entry level contract, typically 3 years. They have to be restricted free agents, so not unrestricted free agents. And you sort of have to bully the other opposition team general managers saying, hey, I would offer your player this, and you have to match it. And if you let us take your player, we have to compensate you with draft picks. Now, only Utah is one of 11 teams who have all the draft picks up to the highest tier of compensation, which is over $11 million, which is 4 first-round picks. You have to own all these draft picks. They can't be acquired from trades. And luckily for Utah, the offer sheet date is July 1st, which is a couple days after the draft. So this will not include the newly acquired 4th overall pick for Utah. So Utah could draft an elite player at 4th overall, and then a couple days later trade their next few first round draft picks in 2026 draft, 2027 draft for another pretty elite player that if one of them catches Bill Armstrong's eye. These are the 6 players I think Bill Armstrong would have his sights on. A couple commenters on my channel and some outside people on Twitter, Reddit, they would, probably say, hey, how about Marco Rossi on Minnesota? What about Mason McTavish on Anaheim? I didn't include them. Rossi, 5'9". It's not me, it's Bill Armstrong. When he says something, I have to listen to him. I do not think he's going to go for another small statured skill forward. He continues to say he wants to get bigger up front. And Mason McTavish, for me, is one of Anaheim's best players. They need and will sign him. So it's a pie in the sky thought that Anaheim would let go of McTavish. Whereas these players, they're not the number 1 guy, almost not a number 2 guy. We'll see what happens with Toronto now. That's a pretty hot topic. But these are like maybe sort of secondary high-end players on their current team. So we'll start with the biggest one, Matthew Knies, Toronto. Like I said, a hot topic right now. I am sure Bill Armstrong has wet dreams about Knies. This guy's the dog of Toronto, and Toronto would be so mismanaged if they walk away from Knies. This guy is a playoff performer. He had the dog in him in these playoffs. He had 7 points in 13 games played, including 5 goals, 6'3", 227 pounds. He'll be 23 years old in October when puck drops for the new season. I mean, this previous season, almost 30 goals right there, 29 goals. These stats on Utah would be unbelievable. Good for what, top 3, top 4 on the team. The goal scoring would be second on the team, right behind Clayton Keller. A huge improvement from the year before. To me, Knies is developed. There's no more rawness to him anymore. What you see is what you're getting, and I think Bill Armstrong would love this player on the team. Just a power forward winger with size, plays hard, competes. He has sneaky speed for his size. He's got skill for his size. The amount of breakaways I was seeing in the playoffs, just creating his own speed and using his huge frame and body to protect the puck and just elude the opposition's defense is unbelievable. What would I, as me and not Bill Armstrong, I think this 9, I would offer him like the highest in this band. So if I'm Bill Armstrong, I go to the Leafs GM, I say, I'm offering Knies $9.35 million as an average annual value. And if Leafs have to match that, I mean, the Leafs need to keep Knies, and to offer him almost $9.5 million, you can start to see like, oh, they're just going to do the same thing again where they're offering their best players these huge contracts. But if Bill Armstrong really loves Knies, Bill Armstrong isn't looking at the Utah roster just for October. He has this roster set out for the next 5 years. If he sees that Knies could fit in the top 6 role and is the player he's been so sought after. Like, you see draft picks like Daniel Boot, Aginla, Baudouin. He wants them to be Knies, and just to acquire that player already at such a young age and enjoy him for 7 years, if not more. You can see Bill Armstrong maybe offer him in this band right here. He will have to compensate 2 first-round picks, a second and a third. If he's in this second highest tier band, I wouldn't go here where it's 4 first-round picks. And you got to think to yourself, Utah will probably be a playoff contender moving forward. So when you go to the trade deadline, it's like whenever you're a playoff contender, you're going to trade first-round picks for role players. Knies isn't a role player. He's a top 6 player. So to forego 2 first-round picks, just think of yourself like, okay, instead of making trade deadline deals where we're trading a first for a rental 2 years in a row, why don't we use those 2 firsts for a 7-year contract for a top 6 player? To me, that's more worth it than trading a first-round pick for a rental at a deadline. But the Leafs, their cap space is unknown. They will probably walk away from Marner, probably Tavares as well, so they could match whatever someone comes after them for Knies. Next, we'll go to Buffalo. They got some 2 good power forward type players. There's a lot of trade rumors around JJ Peterka around the trade deadline. 6 feet tall, 190 pounds, 23 years old. Great stats, just like Knies. 27 goals, 41 assists. This guy's got an unrelenting motor, big power forward, crashes the net. He's got a scoring touch as well. Just another type of player that Bill Armstrong wants. Obviously, I wouldn't offer him so much like Knies. I think Knies, for me, would be the most I would offer. For Peterka, I would give him this 1, 2, 3 between the $7 million and $9.36 million tier. Jack Quinn, also on Buffalo, a former 8th overall pick in 2020. This is the raw player. He's still yet to break out. So you could probably get him for a bargain in hoping that he will develop into a player you want. He was injured 2 seasons ago, only playing 27 games. And this past season, again, only 15 goals. Low in the offensive stats, but the potential is there. So you're more betting on potential. And Buffalo, they have $21 million in cap space like Utah. Money isn't an issue for Utah right now, especially that they made that Weber trade to Chicago. So they got that money off their books as well. But Buffalo, can they re-sign both of their guys? Is one of them up as a potential offer sheet candidate? For me, I think I'd rather go for Peterka than Quinn. I think Quinn plays more of a skill game, playmaking game, whereas Peterka is that horse, that bull rush type of player like a Matthew Knies. Next, we'll go to the Rangers, who only have $8.4 million. There's Will Cooley. The only reason why I wouldn't go after Will Cooley is because we already have a Cooley, and it wouldn't feel nice to have 2 Coolies. I feel like Logan Cooley should be the only Cooley in Utah, and would kind of diminish his name if you acquire another Cooley. But 20 goals this past season. Again, he's waiting to break out. And like I said, the Rangers, only $8 million. Will Cooley isn't that top guy. They got Panarin, Zibanejad, JT Miller, Kreider. Like, Cooley's sort of an afterthought. So you could kind of like force the Rangers' hand if you're Bill Armstrong. Offer him 7.01, where it's only a first and a third. And the Rangers are like, we only have $8 million for cap space. We can't afford to give this secondary guy $7 million. So you could have him. And that's only if Bill Armstrong and team like him. He drives to the net. He's, again, another power forward, but still not as fully developed as a player like Knies. Maybe a year before Knies, and he's 23 years old as well. Then we'll go to the Mammoth man in Columbus, 6'5", 240 pounds, 25 years old for Voronkov on the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets, $41 million in cap space. But again, not a top dog, not a top player that they need to re-sign. I'm not sure about their cap situation, but seeing that they have over $40 million of cap space, I'm sure they'll match whatever an opposition team goes and offers for Voronkov. But he reminds me of Daniel Boots. He had a great season, 23 goals. Again, Bill Armstrong wants to get bigger on the wings, wants to be more intimidating up front in his top six. You could offer, a first round pick, sign this guy for about 5, 6 years, 7 years, and he fits into the mold you want to start creating with the Utah Mammoth. And then finally we go to Vilardi, probably the odd man out here, not this prototypical power forward. He's a two-way skilled playmaker. Whenever he's in the lineup, this guy's almost a point per game player. But the problem with him is he needs to be consistently in the lineup. I knew him a lot from the Los Angeles Kings, rarely saw him with the Winnipeg Jets, but whenever he's in the lineup, he's almost a point per game. He's been dealing with injuries. He's never played a full 82-game season. And this recent season, that's been his most 71 games played for Gabe Vilardi from Winnipeg. Winnipeg has about $25 million in cap space. They got to look if they're going to sign Ehlers, who's an unrestricted free agent. So they might prioritize him, and then another team could swoop in on July 1st and sort of steal him. I'll make an unrestricted free agent video very soon. I wanted to do the offer sheet video first. It's very complicated. It's sort of a new process. We saw this past offseason where St. Louis offered Edmonton offer sheets for Broberg and Holloway. And to be honest, no one really demonizes Doug Armstrong for St. Louis. I feel like St. Louis kind of got away from that. I feel like no one really hates St. Louis other than maybe people hate Jordan Binnington because of his theatrics and his emotions, but I think he redeemed himself playing for Team Canada at the Four Nations. But St. Louis, not a team people hate. I feel like if a team like Vegas was offer sheeting teams, they'd have way more hate than they already do. But being a new team in Utah, Bill Armstrong's got to, sort of tread water here that he doesn't really mess with any relationships among other GMs. You could, if you offer sheet an opposing GM, they could not return your calls for the rest of their career, and you sort of lose out on 1 out of 32 NHL teams. So it's a bit of a tricky situation, but Utah is one of these teams that they can do it. Utah can do whatever they want. They got the cap space, they got the draft picks, they don't have any looming contracts that are going to handcuff them. Again, Logan Cooley doesn't need to be signed this summer, even though he's eligible after July 1st. They could wait until next offseason and then sign him. And even if they sign Logan Cooley at July 1st, that cap hit won't start until next year. It's not going to take away from this current $22 million for this next season. It'll kick in just like Gunther. He signed his $7 million contract last summer. This past season, he was still making entry-level contract money of under $1 million. In October, that $7 million will kick in. So Utah's versatile, just like their captain, Clayton Keller. They can do a lot of things. They got a lot of options. And these are the sort of players I would expect Bill Armstrong to target if he would go down that offer sheet rabbit hole. So that's it for me. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.